In business, we have success and we have failure. I'm Kevin Davis from Detailer's Helper, and today I want to talk to you about some of my failures so I can help you avoid them in the future. As 2015 starts to draw to a close, as you can see by my cute puppy calendar on the wall, it's December, and yes, I have a dachshund puppy calendar. Shows a little bit of insight into my psyche. I'm looking at some of my successes and failures. I had really lofty goals at the beginning of 2015, as some of you might have. I had some goals like sales, how many people I could interact with, my brand engagement, brand loyalty, all of that stuff. And I'd like to just take this opportunity to say thank you if you've purchased one of our belts, one of our products, and or have interacted with me. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you're interacting with my YouTube channel, which I really appreciate. I just want to take an opportunity to say thank you for all you've done. We've been doing this for about 15, 17 months. And it's been phenomenal. Things have gone really, really well with that. I've had some great personal successes over this year. I've had some great brand successes. And I'm just really looking forward to 2016. On that note, or related to that, I've also had some pretty significant failures this year. And I thought that I would take some time and share that with you. In particular, share that with you. So maybe you can sort of learn from my mistakes. I've been in business, I've said before, 17, 18 years. And I've been in a business that was pretty low overhead. Web development, app development, that sort of thing was my primary business for a long time. And the overhead required for that is basically get a new computer every few years, do a little advertising, phone system, that kind of thing, and you're done. Pretty low commitment, low overhead. But as you know, because you're watching this video, back in 2014, I started Detailer's Helper. That brand, a niche brand in the automotive care detailing industry. So product businesses are far different than web development, and it tends to be really high overhead. You've got to have inventory, you've got marketing, you've got prototyping and sampling and shipping and all of those things. Well, it gets really expensive. So one of the things that I failed on this year was that I started to look at my scenario. I started to look at the entire year way back in January of 2015, and I started to get impatient. And I started to get fearful. I think the two main components of failure are going to be fear and impatience. And in my case, that's definitely true. So I started thinking about my year. I started thinking about where I want to take my business, my marketing platform, social media, my reach, my inventory, my product, how I wanted all that to go. And I started thinking to myself, man, looking at the amount of money that I'm spending right now and the amount of money I have to spend, it's just not going to happen. That's where the impatience came in. That's where the fear came in. That fear of if I don't do something more drastic, I'm definitely not going to succeed. Failure number one. So what I did was I started thinking about, all right, well, let's go out and look at business loans. I have a video about debt, business debt, and how it's not necessarily a bad thing. That still holds true. In my case, I didn't do it appropriately. I didn't do it with the best planning in mind. And so I might need to go back and listen to that again and see if I need to update anything. But I started to look at business loans. I started to look at opportunities to take on debt in order to feed the business, do operating capital, do expansion capital, working capital, that sort of thing. I started looking at different options. Small business loans are difficult to get. I found another avenue, which is basically to use credit cards as a way to get funding. It's pretty common to do this, and a lot of them do different things. A lot of the small-time lenders do this in order to sort of not circumvent, but make it easier to get funding than going through a traditional small business loan. Whenever the 2008 lending crisis sort of happened, things got much more difficult in an already difficult scenario for small businesses. Trying to get loans is pretty hard. I know that you can do it. It gets costly, it gets time consuming, all that stuff. Again, impatience, failure number two. So I ended up doing this. I took on some debt. And then one of the problems that people have, there's this rule that basically says if you have it, you're going to spend it, and that was my case. I ended up taking and dropping some money onto a marketing automation platform, doing some marketing, doing some consulting, that sort of thing that I was paying for, and ended up just basically running through about 25 grand just like that, really, really quickly. And looking back at it now, I can see that it was a complete waste of money. I mean, I basically got some little bit of branding help out of it, some marketing automation set up, some sales pages, that sort of thing. But it was a very high-end company, and I won't disparage them here. They didn't do anything wrong. I just didn't have enough money to spend to make what they do worthwhile for me. So even at that 15 to 20 grand mark, I'm not spending enough to be able to take advantage. They're working with clients that are doing $250,000 a month, huge ad spends, huge budgets, all that stuff. And for me, I should have looked at those numbers and said, this is stupid. I got to bail out. I can't do this. But I didn't. Mistake number, whatever we're up to, 3 or 4. So I ended up doing that. So I ended up taking on some coaching help, some consulting help with my business consulting and all that stuff. Another failure on my part. Ended up just basically blowing through a bunch of money because I had it. If I did not have that, I wouldn't have done it. And this goes sort of back to my last video, which was the profit first model. If I had had that thing in place all this time, but especially in 2015, we wouldn't even be having this conversation on this video. Because I would have been spending what was left over after I took the profit and owner's pay, and I would have highly contained all of the spending for my business. So again, that's a huge failure. So here's what I would say to you. I'm going to keep this relatively short, but I wanted to share with you, this is sort of a vulnerable video for me, but I consider myself pretty good at what I do from a marketing standpoint, from a business standpoint, from a personal finance standpoint, and doing those things. But we all screw up. And this 2015 for me, this is the stuff that's been keeping me awake at night. I'm an entrepreneur, so I'll find a solution, I'll move forward, and I'll not repeat that same mistake. The reason I'm sharing this with you, though, is so that I hope that you can look at my failure in this case and maybe rethink some of your decisions as you're trying to think about what you need to do in your business. There's tons of posts on Facebook, on the one-on-one group, on the Detailing for Profit group. How do I do this faster? I've been doing this for 3 months and I really want to do this. If I pay X number of dollars for advertising, is it going to help me this much? If I do a Groupon ad, if I do a Living Social ad, if I do whatever, how can I make this happen faster? And again, 2 components to that: fear and insecurity, and impatience. So it takes a long time to grow businesses. And I think in my case, I got so used to a certain level of success with my other businesses that I figured, hey, I can just do that right now, and not really thinking through that sometimes this is going to take, it may take years, 4 or 5 years to get Detailer's Helper as a brand and the subsequent brands that we're looking at to be where I wanted it to be. So as you're thinking about your detailing expansion, as you go into 2016, you're thinking about what you want to do, I would really recommend that you're deliberate about it. First of all, again, go back and look at the profit first stuff. Go look at that video. I did a full review on it. Get that system and get that implemented. That'll save you a hell of a lot of trouble through 2016 because it'll help you control your spending and it'll help you make more profit and more owners' income. So look at those, and that will help you make good decisions. Don't drive decisions through fear. Don't drive decisions through impatience. For example, let's say that you're a new mobile detailer and you really want to expand and do what you want to do. Well, you don't necessarily need to go out and buy an $800 extractor for your detailing business, along with a $1,500 steamer and all of this stuff, 5 or 6 different polishers. Don't get in such a big hurry until you start to build those clienteles, build that clientele to allow that money and that profit and expenditures to feed back into your business. Maybe you need to start with a small extractor. Maybe you need to start with a used one. Start with a mighty steamer that costs $200, $250 instead of the huge steamer. Granted, that could be, you'll do better and the other one will last forever. But if you don't have the money, you don't have the money. So I would encourage you to really take a patient, deliberate approach to your decision making. So again, this is a vulnerable video for me, showing my failures. I really appreciate the success that I've enjoyed this last year, especially with Detailer's Helper, and especially being able to interact and engage with you guys. I appreciate all of your support. If you have not already purchased the Detailer's Helper tool belt, one of those, we have several options. I would encourage you to go do so. Look at them, www.detailershelper.com. We are not doing a lot of sales this time of year, but this is a great Christmas present. So if you're looking for a last minute gift idea for yourself, for your employees, whatever it is, it'd be good to go. So I thank you for everything you've done in 2015. I'll do a couple more videos by the end of the year, before the end of the year. But I want to thank you personally for all you've done for us and my brand. So I'm Kevin Davis from Detailer's Helper, doing what I do so you can do what you do better. Have an awesome holiday. Have a great rest of your year.